The lights just died, your furnace is silent, and outside, it's 15 degrees and dropping. Most people are about to make fatal mistakes in the next 60 minutes. You're not going to be one of them. Here's what kills people during winter blackouts, and it's not what you think. It's not the cold itself. It's panic. It's desperation. It's that moment at 2 a.m. when your living room is 40 degrees and someone says, "Let's just run the generator in the garage for a bit." That decision, that's how families don't wake up. Every winter, hundreds of people die during blackouts, not from freezing, but from carbon monoxide poisoning, from house fires, from mistakes that seemed reasonable at the time. So let's get one thing straight right now. Your house is no longer a house. It's a hostile environment that's actively trying to kill you. And your job in the next 60 minutes is to create a survivable microenvironment inside it. When the power dies, you're not just dealing with cold. You're racing against time on multiple fronts. Your home is hemorrhaging heat through every window, every crack, every uninsulated wall. Your pipes are heading toward freezing and potential catastrophic rupture. Your body is burning calories at an accelerated rate just to maintain its core temperature. And if you make one wrong move with heating, you could end up with carbon monoxide poisoning before you even realize there's a problem. The decisions you make in the first hour will determine whether you walk out of this fine or become another statistic. Stop trying to heat your whole house. That fantasy died with your furnace. Your new reality? One room. One small, defensible fortress. Find the smallest room with the fewest windows. Bathroom? Perfect. Small bedroom? Great. Walk-in closet? Even better if it fits your family. Physics doesn't care about comfort, it cares about volume. Small spaces trap heat, large spaces devour it. Now seal that room like you're preparing for a zombie apocalypse. Towels under every door crack, plastic sheeting or garbage bags taped over windows, heavy blankets hung across doorways. Every single gap eliminated. You're creating what emergency preparedness experts call a microenvironment, a warm bubble inside a cold house. I tested this during a planned blackout. Outside temp was 20 degrees. My unsealed house was miserable. But one sealed bedroom with just body heat and candles, 15 degrees warmer. 15 degrees is the difference between surviving and hypothermia. It's the difference between uncomfortable and dangerous. This isn't theory. This is proven physics that will save your life. Your body generates about 100 watts of heat, like a dim light bulb. But you're hemorrhaging that heat through radiation, convection, and conduction every single second. The goal is to trap that heat close to your body with layers. Not one thick coat, layers. Thin layers with air gaps between them, because trapped air is nature's best insulator. Start with a base layer that wicks moisture away from your skin. Long underwear, thermal shirt, anything synthetic or wool. Here's the fatal mistake most people make: wearing cotton. Cotton soaks up sweat, then sucks heat from your body like a vampire. Cotton kills in cold weather emergencies. Then add a middle layer, fleece or wool sweater, something that traps warm air. Then an outer layer, a jacket, or even just wrapping yourself in a blanket. And here's the critical part most people miss: your head. Your brain is a furnace, and your skull has zero insulation. 30% of your body heat escapes through your head. Wear a hat, a beanie, a hoodie, a towel wrapped around your head. I don't care if you look ridiculous. Looking stupid beats being dead. Wear gloves, wear 2 pairs of socks. Wool is the gold standard. If you run out of clothes, get creative. Wrap yourself in towels, use curtains, pull old winter coats out of storage. You're building a portable microclimate around your body. Pro move that nobody talks about: sit on something insulated. Cardboard, a yoga mat, a pile of folded blankets. Cold floors will suck heat right out of you through conduction. That concrete basement floor or that tile bathroom floor, they're heat vampires draining your warmth. Get off them. This simple move can make a massive difference in how quickly you lose body heat. This is where people die. Let me say this as clearly as possible. Do not use your gas stove to heat your house. Do not run a generator in your garage. Do not use a charcoal grill indoors. Do not fire up a propane heater designed for outdoor use. Carbon monoxide is colorless, odorless, and it binds to your blood cells 200 times more effectively than oxygen. That means your blood carries poison instead of oxygen to your brain and heart. You'll just feel a little sleepy, a little drowsy, then you'll stop feeling anything. By the time you realize something's wrong, you're already impaired, and you can't think clearly enough to save yourself. More than 400 people die from accidental carbon monoxide poisoning in the United States every year. A huge percentage of those deaths happen during winter blackouts when desperate people make desperate decisions. So what do you actually use for heat? First option, and I'm completely serious here, body heat. Get everyone in your household, including pets, into that one sealed room. Pile under blankets, get into sleeping bags. Humans put out about 100 watts each. 2 adults and 2 kids in a small sealed room, that's 400 watts of continuous heat. That's not nothing, that's meaningful. That's enough to keep the temperature from plummeting. Shared body heat is free, completely safe, and surprisingly effective. Second option, if you prepped ahead, you have an indoor rated propane or kerosene heater. The key words are indoor rated. These heaters are designed with safety features and proper combustion to minimize carbon monoxide, but you still need ventilation. Crack a window about an inch, run it in short bursts to take the edge off the cold, then turn it off, and never, ever sleep with it running. Respect these heaters or they will hurt you. Third option, and this is old school but it works, hot water bottles. If you have a camp stove you can safely use outside, boil water, pour it into sturdy bottles, mason jars, old soda bottles, anything that can handle the heat. Wrap them in towels so you don't burn yourself. Then, stick them in your sleeping bag or under your blankets. You've just created portable heat sources that last for hours. I've used this method camping in sub-zero temperatures. It works beautifully. Fourth option, candles. A few candles in a small sealed room can actually raise the temperature a couple degrees. It's not much, but in a survival scenario, 2 degrees is the difference between shivering all night and getting some actual sleep. Use sturdy candles in safe holders. Never leave them unattended. A house fire during a blackout is game over. The science here is straightforward. Heat is energy. Your body makes it, heaters make it, candles make it. The goal is to trap that energy in one small space and stop it from escaping. Insulation plus a heat source plus a sealed space equals survival. You won't be warm doing this. You won't be comfortable, but you won't die. And right now, that's the only bar that matters. When water freezes, it expands about 9%. Inside a metal or PVC pipe, that means catastrophic rupture. I've seen entire basements flooded because someone didn't protect their pipes during a blackout. The water damage alone can cost tens of thousands of dollars. So here's what you do the moment the heat dies. Go to every faucet in your house and open it to a slow, steady drip. Not a stream, just a pencil-thin drip. Moving water doesn't freeze nearly as fast as standing water. This isn't a guarantee, but it buys you precious time. If you have pipes in your basement, garage, or crawl space, wrap them. Use towels, old clothes, foam pipe insulation, even layers of newspaper wrapped in plastic. Anything to slow down the cold. You're creating a buffer between your pipes and the freezing air. Now, drinking water. Your hot water heater is sitting there holding 40 to 60 gallons of perfectly drinkable water. That's your emergency reserve. Most people have no idea this resource is just sitting there. To access it, turn off the power or gas to the heater if you can. Let it cool down a bit, then open the drain valve at the bottom. Boom. Gallons of clean water available immediately. You should also have water stored separately. The standard recommendation is 1 gallon per person per day minimum. If you don't have stored water, the second the power goes out, fill your bathtub, fill your sinks, fill every pot and bucket you own. City water pressure can fail fast during extended outages. If you need to melt snow for water, do it outside on a camp stove. Only bring it inside after it's melted and in a sealed container. Melting snow indoors adds a ton of moisture to the air. That moisture makes the cold feel worse and leads to condensation and mold problems later. The science is simple. Water freezes at 32 degrees. Moving it and insulating the pipes slows that process. And remember, your body needs water to generate its own heat. Dehydration literally makes you colder. You cannot skip hydration just because it's cold outside. Let's shift to food strategy. Because your fridge and freezer are dying, they're not dead yet, but the clock is ticking. A full freezer will hold its temperature for about 48 hours if you keep the door shut. Half full, you've got maybe 24 hours. Your fridge is just a glorified cooler now, and you've got maybe 1 day before things start spoiling, so you prioritize. Hit the fridge first. Leftovers, milk, anything that spoils fast, eat that stuff first. Then move to the freezer. Here's a pro move. If it's below freezing outside, your backyard just became a walk-in freezer. Move your frozen food into a cooler or a secure box outside. Just make sure no animals can get to it. I did this during a 3-day outage a few years back. worked perfectly. Once you've worked through the perishables, you're on to non-perishables. Canned food, pasta, rice, peanut butter, protein bars, anything that sits on a shelf and doesn't complain. If you need to cook, you take it outside. Use a camp stove with proper ventilation. If you absolutely must cook indoors with a small camping stove, crack multiple windows for cross ventilation, but do not use your gas stove for extended cooking or to heat your house. That's a one-way ticket to carbon monoxide poisoning we already talked about. Here's the science most people miss. Your body is a furnace, and in the cold, it burns more calories just to keep you from freezing. So, you need to eat more than normal. High-calorie, high-fat foods are your best friends. Nuts, peanut butter, chocolate, cheese, if you still have it. These are dense fuel for your internal engine. Carbs give you quick energy. Fats give you sustained warmth. Don't skip meals thinking you're conserving food. You need those calories. Your body is working overtime just to maintain its core temperature, and that requires fuel. When the power dies, you lose your lights. Stumbling around in the pitch black is how you trip, break an ankle, knock over a candle, and turn a bad situation into a catastrophe. So, light it up. Flashlights, headlamps, battery-powered lanterns, even glow sticks. Conserve your batteries by using candles when you're sitting still and saving flashlights for when you need to move around. Here's a desperate but effective trick. You can make an oil lamp with stuff in your kitchen. Find a small glass jar or a metal can. Fill it halfway with cooking oil. Any kind works. Vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever you have. Now you need a wick. A strip of cotton fabric from an old t-shirt works perfectly. Even a cotton shoelace. Twist it tight, soak it in the oil, and leave about an inch sticking out. Light it. You now have a lamp that will burn for hours. Communication is your next priority because isolation kills hope faster than cold. Your phone is probably dying, cell towers might be down, the internet is a distant memory. If you prepped, you've got a hand-crank emergency radio. You're tuning into local stations, getting updates on the blackout, finding out where warming shelters are and when power might be restored. Information is survival. If you didn't prep, you're in conservation mode with your phone. Turn off Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, kill all apps running in the background. Put it on airplane mode except when you absolutely need to make a call. Your car can charge your phone, but only run the car in short bursts and never in an enclosed garage. Carbon monoxide from a running car in an enclosed space will kill you faster than the cold. But here's the most important communication tool you have: your feet. Go check on your neighbors, knock on doors, especially the elderly, people living alone, anyone with disabilities. Share information. Share resources if you can. In a blackout, your community is your lifeline. I learned this during a regional outage a few years back. My neighbor 2 doors down had a generator, another neighbor had a wood stove. We pooled resources and checked on the older folks on our street. Nobody suffered because we actually talked to each other. Survival is a team sport. Now, let's talk about something most people never consider: mental preparation. Hour 6 of a blackout. You're cold, you're uncomfortable, and your brain starts playing games. You start thinking about worst-case scenarios. What if the power never comes back? What if this lasts a week? What if? Here's what I've learned. Stay busy. Give yourself tasks. Organize your supplies. Check on your fortress room. Play cards with your family. Tell stories. Read books by candlelight. Boredom and anxiety are the enemies here. Keep your mind occupied and keep your spirits up. I remember back during a blackout that lasted 4 days. By day 2, my kids were starting to get scared, so we turned it into an adventure. We set up a tent in the living room. We cooked simple meals together. We played board games. We told stories. It wasn't fun exactly, but it wasn't scary either. We made it through together. And honestly, my kids still talk about that week like it was this big bonding experience. This one's critical: knowing when to leave. If your house drops below 50 degrees and you can't safely warm it up, it's time to consider other options. Go to a warming shelter. Go to a friend or family member who has power. Go to a hotel if they're operational. There's no shame in evacuating. Staying in a house that's 35 degrees inside because you're stubborn is how people die. You're not proving anything. Your job is to keep yourself and your family safe, not to be a hero. Signs: you need to leave immediately. If anyone shows symptoms of hypothermia, that's confusion, slurred speech, drowsiness, weak pulse, shallow breathing. If you can't maintain a safe temperature despite your best efforts. If you run out of safe heating options, If someone has a medical condition that requires power for medical equipment, know your limits. Have a backup plan. Know where the closest warming shelters are before you need them. Let's talk about something else people forget: medications. If you rely on refrigerated medications like insulin, you've got a problem. Most refrigerated meds can handle being at room temperature for a day, maybe two, but check with your pharmacist ahead of time. Know your window. If the power is out longer than that window, you need to get to a pharmacy or hospital. Have a plan for this before it happens. Everything I just talked about is reactive. You're responding to an emergency that already happened. But the real winners in these situations are the people who prepared before the lights went out. So let's talk about what you should have ready right now, today, before the next storm hits. An emergency kit in one location, flashlights with fresh batteries, a battery-powered or hand-crank radio, a first aid kit, medications for at least a week, water at 1 gallon per person per day for at least 3 days, non-perishable food for 3 days minimum, a manual can opener, matches or lighters in a waterproof container, cash because ATMs won't work, blankets and warm clothing, a whistle to signal for help if needed. For heating, if you can afford it, get an indoor safe propane heater with extra fuel. Get a carbon monoxide detector with battery backup. Yes, they make them. Get sleeping bags rated for cold weather. Insulate your home properly before winter hits. Check your weather stripping. Caulk your windows. Add insulation to your attic if you can. The better your home holds heat normally, the slower it will lose heat during an outage. Know where your main water shutoff is. Know how to drain your pipes if it comes to that. Have the tools you need to do basic winterization. Know where your circuit breaker is and how to shut off individual circuits safely. Have a list of emergency contacts written down on paper, not just in your phone. Phone numbers for family, neighbors, your doctor, local emergency services, your utility company. When your phone dies, that paper list is gold. Here's something else. Practice. Do a voluntary blackout for 6 hours. Turn off your power at the breaker. See what works and what doesn't. See what you're missing. See how your family handles it. This kind of dry run will teach you more than any article or video ever could. I do this once a year, usually in the fall before winter hits. It keeps my skills sharp and it shows me where my gaps are.